Hey everybody, I'm Kay and welcome to the channel. Now I love a good party as much as the next person. Birthdays, weddings, Tuesdays, any excuse to celebrate really. Today we're taking a look at 20 of the weirdest, wildest, most wacky festivals from around the globe. If you're anything like me, and if you're watching this you probably are, you're curious, you love to travel, you love to experience new cultures, and you're not afraid of a little or a lot of weirdness. So buckle up because you are not ready for this. Alright, let's kick things off in Spain, home of siestas, tapas, and apparently the world's biggest food fight. Every year the town of Buñol hosts La Tomatina, a festival dedicated entirely to throwing tomatoes at each other. I'm talking tens of thousands of people, hundreds of tons of overripe tomatoes all just flying through the air in a glorious, messy, red free-for-all. Next we're heading over to Japan, where things are about to get a little interesting. The Kanamara Matsuri, also known as the Festival of the Steel Phallus, is, well, exactly what it sounds like. Picture this: giant, brightly colored statues of you-know-what, parading down the streets, accompanied by music, dancing, and more phallic imagery than you can shake a stick at. Okay, now we're off to England, where they apparently have a very unique relationship with cheese. Every year at Cooper's Hill, hundreds of people gather to witness the spectacle that is cheese rolling. The first one to cross the finish line at the bottom wins the cheese, along with bragging rights and probably a few bruises. Hold on to your sombreros, folks, because we're going back to Spain for this one. And let me tell you, this festival is not for the faint of heart. El Calacho, also known as the Baby Jumping Festival, is, well, exactly that. Men dressed as devils literally jump over rows of babies laid out on mattresses. But apparently it's supposed to cleanse the babies of their sins and protect them from evil spirits. Hey, whatever works, right? Just, maybe don't try this one at home. Next up we're heading to Thailand, the land of smiles, spices, and apparently monkey feasts. That's right, every year the town of Lopburi hosts a massive buffet for monkeys. I'm talking mountains of fruits, vegetables, sweets, you name it, these monkeys get to pig out on all of it. It's a sight to behold, and it's all done in honor of the monkey god Hanuman. Let's be honest, who among us hasn't secretly wanted to just dive headfirst into a giant mud pit? Well, in South Korea, they've turned that primal urge into a full-blown festival. The Boryong Mud Festival is basically a giant mud party. It's messy, it's chaotic, and it looks like an absolute blast. Alright, time to switch gears a bit and head over to Mexico for a festival that's a little more cultured. Every year, on December 23rd, the city of Oaxaca celebrates the Noche de Rabanos, or Night of the Radishes. Artists spend weeks carving intricate sculptures out of radishes, and they put them on display for all to see. It's weird, it's wonderful, and it's proof that you can make art out of literally anything. Okay, I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, we already did the baby jumping thing in Spain. And you'd be right, we did. But get this, Spain loves baby jumping so much they have another festival dedicated to it. This time it's in the village of Castrillo de Murcia, and while the concept's the same, grown men in devil costumes leaping over infants, the stakes seem even higher. Now it's time to head to the United States, to the middle of the Nevada desert, for a festival that's less about tradition and more about, well, that's kind of up to you to decide. Burning Man is a week-long experiment in community, art, self-expression, and radical self-reliance. It's a wild, surreal experience, and it culminates in the burning of a giant wooden effigy, hence the name. Alright, back to Japan for a festival that's guaranteed to make you blush. The Hadaka Matsuri, or Naked Festival, is exactly what it sounds like. A whole lot of naked people running around. Thousands of men wearing only loincloths gather at the Saidaiji Temple to participate in this, shall we say, invigorating tradition. Think Spain has a monopoly on food fights? Think again, Italy's got its own version, and instead of tomatoes they're using oranges. The Ivrea Orange Festival is basically La Tomatina's citrusy cousin. Every year the streets of Ivrea transform into a battleground where teams pelt each other with oranges, representing the townspeople's revolt against an evil tyrant. Alright, who here has ever played air guitar in the privacy of their own home? Don't be shy, I know I have. But in Finland, they've taken this universal pastime to a whole other level. The Air Guitar World Championships is a real thing, and it is glorious. Finland is on a roll with these wacky competitions. The Wife Carrying Championship is another one for the books. As you might have guessed, it involves men racing through an obstacle course while carrying their wives on their backs. The prize? The winner's wife's weight in beer. That's right, folks. Italy loves a good food fight so much they have another one. The Battle of the Oranges takes place in Ivrea, and is one of the oldest festivals on our list. It involves thousands of participants divided into teams who hurl oranges at each other for 3 days straight. Just maybe pack a raincoat or a hazmat suit. G'day mates, and welcome to Australia where everything's upside down, and they celebrate by chucking giant fish through the air. The Tunarama Festival is held annually in Port Lincoln, South Australia, and it's a celebration of all things tuna. But the highlight of the festival is undoubtedly the tuna tossing competition, where contestants see how far they can hurl a 10-kilogram tuna fish. Now we're diving deep, literally. The Underwater Music Festival in the Florida Keys is not for landlubbers. Every year, hundreds of scuba divers and snorkelers gather in Looe Key Reef to enjoy a concert underwater. Okay, back to England for a competition that's, well, it's something else. The World Toe Wrestling Championships are exactly what they sound like. Two people, locking toes and trying to pin each other's foot to the ground. It's like arm wrestling, but with your feet. Bonjour from France, where they're celebrating pigs? That's right, La Pourcaillade is a festival entirely dedicated to our porcine pals. It takes place in the town of Trie-sur-Baze and involves everything from piglet races to pig-calling contests. It's a celebration of rural life, and it's a reminder that sometimes the weirdest festivals are also the most fun. We're back in Spain for our final fiesta, and this one is a doozy. Antroida, also known as Antroxu, is a pre-Lenten carnival celebrated in the region of Galicia. It involves costumes, parades, and throwing things at each other. But we're not talking about tomatoes or oranges this time. No folks, we're talking about flour and ants. Apparently it's meant to symbolize purification and the coming of spring. We're ending our journey back in England at the top of Cooper's Hill for one last cheese-fueled thrill ride. Will anyone catch the cheese? Will anyone make it down the hill in one piece? Tune in to find out. Well folks, there you have it, 20 of the weirdest, wildest, most unbelievable festivals from around the world. If you enjoyed this wild ride through the world's most bizarre celebrations, give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing travel content, because we've got a whole lot more adventures in store for you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep laughing, and keep an open mind. You never know what kind of weirdness you'll find out there in the world.